Welcome to the Cyber Corporation, Cyberpunks. That's the thing that happens. It's the Cyberpunk credo.
Meet
And
Z.
And Billy Idol put it in his music on a computer. Shut up. So I've had a shitty month, or shitty past few months. Oh Christ!
Not as shitty as the future.
Hi.
Please do not be afraid to talk right now, because I am terrified that Windows is gonna fuck me over again. So when you all go quiet, I get antsy.
Thanks for having me on this podcast. It's nice to be here.
Same.
You may not recognize me.
It's
been a while.
Give me money, goddammit!
Give him money, goddammit. Or we'll come out
Good
to your
people
house and break your legs.
Had a few months. I think the world's had a few months. These past few months.
That is what months are.
Been a hell of a ride.
So it's good to escape from it in some dystopian cyberpunk fantasy.
Pro Jared looks like what the Maroon 5 guy sounds like.
Pro Jared looks like what his dick looks like.
Pro Jared looks like a pedophile.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Shortly behind bars.
Dicks can't be pedophiles. They don't have sexuality.
They can if they're Pro Jareds. Anyways.
So.
Hello.
Without a brain, a dick is just a dick.
Welcome to the show.
With a brain, it's a pedophile.
Oh. Welcome to IndieCent.
Pro Jared can go fuck off and don't buy Ion Fury.
Yep.
This has been a month of people being.
And that's the news.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us for this episode of IndieCent.
It's time for another grab bag. I found 6 games on itch.io, some demos, some just little things people put out. We have Black Box, Neo Dogma, Outscore, Vengeful Heart, Sense, Cyberpunk Ghost Story, and lastly File Maniac, and we'll be talking about them in that order. And I've decided to give up all pretense, and I've ordered it and from least interesting to most interesting. Fuck it.
I don't know if we're ranking them, but I have my own ranking of them that I've written down as well.
I also have my own ranking.
I plan on buying all of them.
I am buying at least 2 of these games.
I did put some money into all of them when we got them, just because I felt like I should.
Okay, before we get to all that, though, and all the Cyberpunk, because that was the theme, and we forgot to mention it, because we're all very tired. We gotta talk about... We've got to talk about news. And for the first news, I'm gonna bitch about ironic English visual novels made by racist shitheads.
Which one?
How about all
KFC one.
They made a KFC dating simulator.
Oh god, they made it?
Like go along with the Pepsi Man.
It's made by an actual developer who has real games on Steam. That's the worst part.
Oh.
And don't buy it. I've had it with this fucking trend. Oh my god. The fact that now a major corporation's getting on it just pretty much confirms what I've known for years now. This is the worst thing that's happening in video games right now. Fuck these games. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Mm.
If you played Hot Faux Boyfriend and decided, oh, so it's just a dating sim except you date animal or politician or insert random object here, go fuck yourself. You are literally taking part in destroying entire fucking industry. God, this is the dumbest timeline.
Yeah, I really liked what how John Reisenbach put it. He's like the lead localizer on like Yakuza and those games. He basically put it like it. A lot of people saw How to Faux Boyfriend and only saw irony instead of like all the sincere heart, like all the sincerity in How to Faux Boyfriend that made it likable. But everyone just latched onto the irony aspect and
we've been
took off from there.
They're making a fucking dating sim where you date Supreme Court judges. I want to die.
It's ironic that actually KFC are the company making this, because this is like gaming fast food.
Oh, they're not making it; they commissioned it.
Oh well, okay, but it's gaming fast food for the lowest common denominator. It's like food.
They're also the ones with like an official KFC gaming channel that like did the whole sub to you know who thing.
What? Oh, everyone's favorite Swedish Nazi. Yeah.
Yeah,
video games were a mistake.
You know, the meme that the mass shooter said before slaughtering a lot of people. Yay, KFC. Your chicken sucks ass.
This is I hope to God this is the fucking endpoint of these things. And though we still have to worry about the Doki Doki knockoffs, which is annoying because I will actually defend Doki Doki on some level because I am playing it, I know what the true ending is, and like I can tell the developer at least understood how dating sims work, tried to make an actual sincere dating sim before all the subversive parts kicked in. Like, they have respect for the genre, but then you go look at all the Doki Doki knockoffs and I want to scream. I found one that was just magical girls but fucked up, and I'm like, gee, it's 2019, fuckface. God, how old is Madaka? How old is Madaka now?
8 years old.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god, I'm ancient.
I remember because that
came out. Somewhere Faux Jared is just perked up and he's like, did someone say 8 years old?
Because that was airing when the like huge earthquake happened.
It's even worse in this case because I looked up what the true ending of that game is, and it's nothing. It's the Game of Thrones of video games. Themes are for book reports, apparently. Fuck everything.
Does it not even just like
nothing
give you
means
money?
Anything. Just shock value. The things die, and that excites people. Fuck you. I'm tired.
What is the end game? What is the end game of Pepsi Man 2 Electric Boogaloo?
Pepsi Man is the only fast food game that's okay to like.
Yeah, but this is just Pepsi Man 2 Electric Boogaloo, except it's
not.
Video gaming fast food. It's just crap.
It's not. The thing about Pepsi Man is, that was an ad game, but it was made by people who were given this assignment like, and just did whatever the fuck they wanted with the weird ads they had on hand, and they just made something so stupid it was magical. But this is the most fucking obvious thing I've ever seen in the entire world. This is the endpoint of fucking brand Twitter's endless sucking of my soul. It's just recycled memes, and we understand what the kids like, and the annoying thing is they actually do, which makes all this worse.
Yeah, I mean, Arby's
like all this fucking talent if we're going into like garbage. Just
How long do you think it is until they remaster Burger King Xbox 360 games.
Oh, what now?
God, I miss those at this point.
Sorry,
At least they were honest.
King.
They were
now?
fucking honest.
The Burger King Xbox games. What? I'm gonna need a little bit more enlightenment on this.
Oh boy.
Burger King had 3 games developed and sold them in their stores on the Xbox 360. And the most famous of them was Sneak King, where you got to play as the horrifying Burger King and in a stealth game, and you had to surprise people with burgers.
Okay. But
Honestly,
this is the thing. Hasn't the internet been doing this for years? Like, Arby's basically now seems to sort of position itself to the weeb / gamer thing. Because, like, they have obviously all their...
Oh, they're all doing it.
Yeah.
They're all doing it because Denny's did it with when Attack on Titan was getting big, and they realized, oh, this could be a marketing strategy, and it doesn't cost anything, so fuck it. And now we're in hell. And we're stuck here. And I want the Sonic Twitter guy to stop tweeting forever.
I've been saying that for years.
Brands are not your friends.
I've been saying that for a long time. Everyone else went along with it. Now they're sick of it. I've been here the whole time.
Remember, it's not okay to like things unless you do it ironically. What does that mean? I don't know.
It means liking things sincerely but denying it.
No, in some case, no, in the irony visual novel scene, that's not even the case. The vast majority of the people making these fucking games haven't even actually played any visual novels other than other irony visual novels. It's maddening.
It's an opus of shit.
What the fuck are they parodying anymore? They're just copying each other. And it's taking attention from actual visual novels, especially if you're a queer developer and Steam's already fucking you over. This just floods the market with garbage you can't compete with because you don't have a stupid fucking hook. It's,
And to be honest, like, we've had so many good visual novels on, like, the internet already that really, even if you want something sort of which has a weird premise or a weird setup, it probably exists in a non-ironic format anyway.
Heck, that technically counts Hatful Boyfriend. That was a very sincere game, but nobody played it long enough to get to that point, and, it's maddening.
Because visual novels still seem to be this sort of second class of video games, despite the fact that sort of, you know, one of the biggest franchises in anime, manga, etc. started from a visual novel.
Well, you have to keep in mind that part of this is that for the longest time, English audiences couldn't play visual novels because they were mainly being made in Japan and they weren't getting translated. And when they did get translated, they got translated badly, which was the case with Fate Stay Night when it first released.
And now Fate Stay Night is just... But the thing is, you are starting to get, which is quite good, actually, I suppose. And it seems to be mostly Manga Gamer that does it these days. That sort of seems to be doing the particularly big ones.
Yeah, but they aren't released. But a lot of these aren't getting released on Steam, or if they are, they're getting drowned out by just all the crap on Steam,
or just straight up getting delisted.
Oh yeah, and if for ridiculous reasons like how do you pronounce this? Taiminen? Is that it? Taiminen Asagi?
I have no idea.
Oh, you guys don't know about Black Lilith, do you?
I heard there was I saw Tao Sim talking about the big recent one that got delisted for really dumb reasons. I don't know the title of it though.
Is this
Taiminen Asagi. It's from Black Lilith, and let me tell you, they make some fucked up games, but that's not why it was removed.
Yeah, it was removed for it had uniforms in it.
Because Steam they don't play these games when they come out anymore, and it's turning out to be a problem, and Steam isn't putting down hard rules on what is and isn't allowed, and it's not going to be looking good for the Epic situation either, and now Steam has a fucking clause in their contract when you release a game on their store that it has to be on Steam first. Go fuck yourselves. Jesus Christ. Yeah. It sucks to be an English visual novel developer. The scene is dying, and they're all pretty much repeating this over and over. Because of all these fucking irony games and the stores being so hostile to any of them that have any form of sexuality in them. It's... Jesus Christ.
Wouldn't it be great if they delisted the KFC game?
Yes.
And they just put for the official reason, it sucks.
They won't do that because they don't actually play these games.
Yeah. What do you think is going to be the video game equivalent of, like, Sunny D tweeting, I can't do this anymore?
It's Sunny D making a game.
Oh, when it's when freaking Arby's puts out their own visual novel, or McDonald's puts out their own visual novel because they actually have a cast of characters, but they go for the Doki Doki Literature Club parody.
I don't see him I don't see him going that far.
Yeah, I was trying to think of another fast food company that has its own cast of characters, but those have kind of died off.
And then you got to just think about other brands in general. You could probably you can see the M&M people doing something.
Yeah, probably.
Some sort
I
of.
don't know. I've blocked most brands. I've blocked just about every brand, every annoying brand on Twitter, so I don't know what they're doing with advertising these days.
Please buy actual English visual novels and stop buying this crap. Jesus. Like, Cat President was funny a few years ago, but now if I see that game ever again, I'm going to scream.
Hey, you know it's a good visual novel from a Western dev? Heaven Will Be Mine.
Yeah.
Play that. Buy that.
I made a thread when I last somewhere on my Twitter, but good luck finding it with all the retweets I do, but like stuff from Winter Wolves I also highly recommend. I'm enjoying Season of the Wolf so far. Lauren the Amazon Princess obviously goes without. I did a 45-minute video on that. That goes without saying. I could go on and on. Just like support actual developers and not these fucking chuckle fucks who haven't even played the games they're supposedly like making fun of. It's just I hate video games.
There are a lot of people out there recommending good Japanese developed visual novels that have gotten translated. I can't recommend any just because I don't really play visual novels.
But it's the English scene that needs the help most right now, because that's the one that's going to end up imploding at this rate. It's maddening. Let's move on to the next story, which is much stranger than I was expecting when I first heard about it this morning. I actually have 3 links here for y'all. Okay, this is all related to the last Borderlands 3 controversy, and it's dealing with the delivery of review copies. But it gets weirder because, like, it seems like the game wasn't even ready to review yet because the copy they gave out was bad. And it was only on the Epic Store, and like all the reviewers had to share one account that just had Borderlands 3 on it.
Wait, it was one account?
Yes.
Oh, because when I read the story, it was like they got different accounts with different logins, but it was one account?
Then again, it doesn't matter because they should have just gotten a fucking key. What in the world is happening?
Yeah, because you can't, like, reviewers have said they've gotten store keys for Epic Games, like games on the Epic Game Store, and I don't think any console versions of the game were put out for review, which is weird.
And like
it was just the PC version.
Well, anyways, this started when it came out on a Giant Bomb stream that they wouldn't be getting a review copy of Borderlands 3, and the representative of 2K said it was because they weren't hot on the game after E3. And that's when it initially started, but then things got weirder, and it turns out that the few people that got it's also publicly stated it was for safety reasons, whatever that means, and then it turns out the review copy was like a work in development, and you weren't allowed to mention bugs in it because supposedly those might get fixed in the final version, but they may not. So what was the fucking point of any of this? Other than, I understand part of it is to like get good review scores, but I think like all those bugs would impact the reviewers' decision, the scoring decisions a little bit.
Also, I'd like to point out, as you said, Giant Bomb got told it was because of their previous coverage of the game. I particularly their E3 coverage, which is the only time they've actually gotten hands-on with the game. I watched their E3 coverage because I watched their stuff a lot. What they said about the game was not negative. They were just it's more Borderlands. They wanted kind of a step forward in the game, so they were disappointed that it wasn't a step forward. But they were it's more Borderlands, which is not negative, because it doesn't seem like they were trying to actually do anything different than more Borderlands.
Yeah. There's also something worth mentioning that this is a part of a pattern. 2K is noticeably pretty shitty to reviewers, getting them a game very shortly before it's supposed to release worldwide, the stuff like that. But it also reminded me that, Bethesda was also really hostile to reviewers, around when Dishonored 1 came out, I think. And it's looking like this is becoming a trend we're just kind of forgetting about among a lot of big name publishers these days.
Isn't Kotaku still on Bethesda's blacklist?
Yeah. This that Kotaku link I shared with you all is an old one, but I put it in this for context's sake, because they mentioned a few things I think are worth remembering. Because they also aren't they're one of the outlets that aren't getting a Borderlands 3 copy.
Yeah.
That too.
And Vice...
you keep talking, I'm gonna go yell at my dog.
Vice Games also, Patrick Klepek at Vice Games also said that, they didn't get a review copy either.
So I didn't get a review copy.
Me either.
And I asked for one.
I didn't ask for one, because
I was I'm a representative of the IndieCent podcast. Give me a key for Borderlands 3.
At one point, I was thinking of buying this game, and it was about the time when I found out that they had hired a couple of private investigators to go to the house of someone who had leaked info to intimidate him.
It should be clarified that controversy and this one have nothing to do with Gearbox. This is all 2K's bullshit.
Oh yeah, for sure. But
yeah, because I do want to clarify that, because every other controversy is directly linked to Randy Pitchford.
Yeah, they have their own problems. They have plenty, or at least a couple people at the top have their own problems. So
what the fuck was 2K thinking about the goons thing? Jesus. Why did anyone think that was a good idea? But yeah.
I wonder if Take-Two has any other games with problems coming out. I don't know. Oh, hey, an NBA 2K20 trailer.
Oh, it's gambling.
Oh,
look, it's gambling.
Oh. What? Legislation? What? Look at these slot machines. Ugh. What's legislation? I don't even know what that means.
I think this is proof that reviews for big budget games you should probably just ignore from this point on forward, because it's pretty clear that these publishers are trying to game the system as much as they can without outright buying critics, because that's obviously going over a line. No one's going to take that. So this is just a way to shore up review scores.
Oh yeah,
and it's becoming fairly obvious.
Yeah,
and I think the only one not smart enough to do it yet is EA, because they really should, because they keep releasing games in broken states.
People keep buying them. But I mean,
wait, is that true? I don't think many people are actually still playing Anthem anymore.
Not Matt. Look at FIFA and Madden, how much money they bring in. FIFA's...
Oh yeah, they're sports games.
Yeah,
they exist in their own dimension where normal people exist.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm gonna go yell at my dog again.
As does 2K20.
FIFA is, whenever I'm in a second-hand game shop, FIFA is always my favourite series to check out, just because you can look at it and be like, alright, it's September this year, that means that FIFA 2020 is already out, and it's a brand new release, it's £50. And then you see FIFA 19, still relatively recent, it's £25. And then FIFA 18 is £5, and everything else is literally 50p.
If not cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, 6 months ago when I was looking, I was just casually looking at the prices for the 2K games, the previous year's,
2K.
which would have been
Gay and
2K18
everything.
at the time, was still being charged full price on Steam.
Wow.
Like when
Normal
it was
people
already
play sports games,
outdated.
so they're gonna exist forever, no matter what we do.
Yeah, and they're only
Until
getting
like
worse.
they all put gambling in them, and then the government's gonna step in.
Yeah.
Yay.
Probably not the U.S. government, but if enough governments do it, they're gonna be like, oh fuck. But then again, you never know with the U.S. government.
I mean, as long as
We're
the U.S.
wishy-washy.
government, if the U.S. government doesn't do it, they're just gonna put them in the U.S. versions of the game, and leave them out everywhere else.
The way I see it, the U.S. government likes big business, but they also like using mediums they don't understand as scapegoats.
Mm-hmm.
So it could go either way.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Good
let's
thing
go
we have
on
the
to-
ESA on our behalf. How are they
God.
doing? Oops.
Let's continue on to what we've been playing. Okay, I have a timer again. Well, actually, it's the one I told you about I didn't understand, but now I know how it works, so I can use it.
Cool,
Hey.
timer.
Who wants to go first?
Oh, fuck it, I'll go first.
Okay, you got 7 minutes.
Oh god, oh, okay. What have I been playing this time? I have been playing quite a number of games. Where should we start? I have played some nice, because obviously I'm trying to get more into buying stuff off .itch.io because it's ethical and I don't feel dirty about spending money on Steam. I bought and played some games which include the following: a really, really nice, simple, sort of, I even hesitate to even call it a visual novel and more an interactive story, called Un momento, So I've been playing a game called Hard Coded, which is a not safe for work visual novel, sort of point and click sort of thing.
Bart isn't a dick.
And everyone in it is trans, which is kind of cool. Called from a webcomic called BDSM Boys, which was kind of cute and nice artwork. And I also play the interactive thing, which I'm trying to find the title of, and it escapes me at the moment, I'm afraid. But I will, if I can remember, I will ask Dark to put it in the to just put a little notation on this. Anyway, in terms of actual games I've been playing this month, which aren't on .itch.io, I have been playing the demo for Dragon Quest 11 subtitle, which is really, really nice. It's coming out on the Nintendo Switch imminently. It looks and sounds fucking amazing. And it's actually the first time I've ever played a Dragon Quest game, which is kind of, I guess, a good start to the series. There is a demo right now on the Nintendo eStore if you do want to go and check it out. I do recommend if you are going to buy this, because it is a big game. It is a long game. And obviously Dragon Quests have a certain idiosyncratic style to them, so try before you buy. I've also been playing, also off the Nintendo Switch eStore, the demo for Demon X Machina, which is a really nice shooting game. It's sort of really stylish, very reminiscent of the artwork for the main guy who does the Metal Gear games, whose name escapes me. It's this really interesting cel-shaded visual thing, and it's looking like, unfortunately, this is going to get sort of really badly squeezed between Astral Chain and obviously the upcoming remake of Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, both of which are very good games, but I feel like this game, deserves your attention, certainly while you wait for that second game to come out, and somewhat inevitably, since the DLC Recode is coming out, I've been trying to finish Kingdom Hearts 3 and it's got to the part where it's very much the Disney stuff is over and Tetsuya Nomura's weird fanfic ideas have entered the room, and it's sort of interestingly insane because it's quite clear Nomura has just interesting concepts going on. It's surprisingly fun. It's complete madness, and it's obviously, and the one thing that annoys me about Recode is it's pretty obvious. Yeah, there was stuff that they deliberately cut out of KH3 to put in this because, the way this sort of meshes together is a little bit too neat for just a bit of DLC that they've come up with since. By the way, the name of the visual novel, the little interactive novel about, is called Can You Say My Name Again, which is on .itch.io. And that is what I've been playing this month. Hey!
Hooray! Who wants to go next?
I'll go.
Okay, go.
It's been a while. Since I've been back on, so I've been dipping into a lot of games, so I'll try to keep this contained. It's one of the main ones I've stuck to. I just had a review of a game called Crystar drop on Crunchyroll yesterday, so check that out. I've got 2 more reviews I'm working on right now. There are a few big ones. I've, like I said, dipped in and out of certain games, but there are some big ones, starting with the ones I actually played all the way through in my time. First off, there's Fire Emblem Three Houses, which I played through. A lot of people have been going through multiple routes. So far, I've only played through one route of that game, and I really enjoyed it. I really liked Fire Emblem Awakening, but I didn't finish it. I thought Fire Emblem Fates had a dumb as rock story that made no sense, but I really liked the Fire Emblem gameplay, so I still played a bit of that and never finished it either.
She's your sister!
Hell yeah, she is.
Ew.
I like Camilla.
I was referencing Joe Dirt.
Have
Have you ever seen Joe Dirt 2?
No.
It's terrible.
I've never seen Joe Dirt 1.
Fix that.
No. But, so this kind of marries the Fire Emblem, I guess newer Fire Emblem, because I never played the older ones, combat that I liked, with some, classroom, some light to medium, not Persona heavy, but light to medium, social management sim, which I really enjoyed. I thought the characters were really well rounded. There weren't any that I didn't like. It has, I'm aware of what the S support, which is analogous. Is that the right word to say? Analogous to romance. I know that there are a lot of there are a few S supports on when you're playing as the male main character. There's only one that's actually romantically coded, which is a bummer. But I played as the female one, and she has more options. And I thought it was really the way I went with. I romanced one of the house leaders. The house leader I chose, Edelgard, who is one of the biggest characters in the game, and they have a pretty intimate arc together if you romance them that I quite enjoyed. But there is some good criticism out there that people can check out about the in defense of, and also not in defense of, but people saying what it meant to them, and then there is also good criticism of how it falls short. But overall I really enjoyed that game. I thought it had a great story. I really liked the social management aspects, and it's it made some tweaks to the gameplay that I thought worked pretty well. And eventually I will go back and probably play those other routes. After that, I recently played through all of Control, the new game from the Alan Wake developers.
The new Alan Wake game.
Yeah, I'd played some...
I mean that literally. Did you see the DLC announcement?
AWE. I mean, altered...
I mean, it has fucking Alan Wake rising out of the ocean. It's pretty obvious what's happening.
There's a lot of references to Alan Wake in that. Like, there's like an altered world expansion is what it's called, and the event, which an altered world event in Control, is basically a huge supernatural phenomena. And there are a lot of references to an altered world event specifically tied to Alan Wake, which is pretty funny. I got a kick out of those when playing through the game. I played a little bit of Alan Wake, but I never really got into it. But I really, really enjoyed Control. I thought visually it looked really good. It had a great art direction with like the brutalism of the entire bureau, kind of linking it into this sort of 50s, 60s era
2 minutes
CIA stuff, and actually giving a reason for why all this like old spy tech is there and not new stuff like smartphones. It looked great. I thought it played like a kind of a standard like third-person shooter, no cover, which was kind of nice, but like no cover system. But I thought the powers were enhanced sort of by the visuals, by the freedom of it. Like if you don't have something freely available to grab for your telekinesis, like it just picks up a piece of the wall or ground it anywhere. It's really good. And also the sound design was like really sold the impact and all the sounds. If you have the opportunity to play that game, I definitely recommend it. I thought it was very good. Even the ending was a little bit disappointing just because it felt a bit rushed and probably for DLC, which is kind of a bummer, but I really liked it. Other than that, the only thing I played a ton of, I played a bunch of Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. I don't know how far I am in that game. I haven't picked it up in a while, but I need to get back to that. I've enjoyed it so far. And I've started playing Pokemon Go again on my phone, just because I got a new phone, had a bunch more storage space, so I re-downloaded it. And I do a lot of walking on my job, because I'm a waitress, and like I walk to and from work. I did a lot in Japan, because I was walking everywhere.
30 seconds.
So yeah, that's been interesting. They made a lot of good updates since the last time I played a couple years ago. To like add a friends list, you can send gifts back and forth. Like there's trading and everything now. It's they've made a lot of good changes to it. So I've been having some fun with that.
Are you done?
At this time, I'll mention I'm playing
10 seconds.
I'm playing through Outer Worlds right now. Space exploration adventure game. It's really charming, and I'm liking it a lot, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. Also, there's a Tekken update. Tekken rules. Play Tekken.
Oh crap, I messed up the timer.
I downloaded the Lily Season 3 guide today, so I'm looking forward to getting to that.
I'll go ahead and go next. Alright, I have, thankfully, 7 games here, so that's neat.
7 games, 7 minutes.
I finally played Paratopic, and yeah, that game's a lot. I'm interested in replaying it, because apparently there are other endings, but I don't know how that functions. Maybe it's not other endings or just other outcomes to events. Because, like, I was able to avoid the thing where you give the girl the tape, for example, but I don't know how much that changes things elsewhere. It's a really interesting game. I highly suggest you play it, especially since it apparently came out that one of the people who helped make the game is being sabotaged by someone in the gaming industry right now and is about to commit legal action against them. So, support them because they're getting fucked over hard right now. Buy Paratopic, it's good. Let's see, I bought and started Akiba's Trip, Undead and Undressed, and I like it a lot because it's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. It is a city-based action RPG of sorts that was originally on the PSP and got ported to PC. about you getting turned into an artificial vampire called a synthesizer, who just feeds on people's like good vibes. Okay, and you have to fight the other vampires by stripping them down in the middle of the street so the sun destroys them. And that's why the entire mechanic of the game is based around stripping people of their clothing. And it's not it's strangely not horny, it's just hilarious and weird, especially because the lock-on system is kind of messy. So you will often just hit NPCs by accident during fights, and it will just turn into a giant ridiculous brawl where you're just stripping random people because they won't stop hitting you with a briefcase. It's so stupid. The only problem is that you probably may have heard of this guy. There was a guy working at Xseed who is a huge piece of shit and the dumbest human being who has ever lived. He took his name off the credits of another Akiba game, Akiba Beat, because they changed a KKK sign in the game that was originally a reference to like a power company or something, because they didn't want to, because they eventually realized what that means in America and didn't want that connotation there. But he was like, no, that's censorship. Even though the original intent was not to be racist, he was really obsessed with keeping in a racist joke for some reason, even though, Jesus Christ. He fucking quoted made the most pretentious quote about his decision, and just, God, video games suck. And every once in a while, the localization for this game is generally good, but every once in a while you see something that makes you think, hey, it's the KKK guy doing that. Like the presence of the T-slur a few times. There's one type of NPC that's just called Privileged Skank. You know, stuff. There's a fucking joke related to the FBI pedophile list. It's just like, oh, it's this guy, huh?
Eat your racist hamburgers, Apollo.
I played through 1980X, a sprite-based send-up to arcade games, and it's basically 5 games thrown together and put into a narrative where you're hearing the narration of a kid in the late 1980s as he discovers the arcade and he's going through some personal stuff. It's a little pretentious, but I liked it overall, and the sprite work is amazing. I highly recommend it. It only takes like an hour or two to finish. Anodyne 2 came out. I played that for review. My review should be up by the time this podcast goes up. And yeah, you should play it, because Anodyne 1 was weird and amazing, and this tops it. It adds in this PS1 style overworld that's very weird and full of all sorts of quirky characters. And like the first Anodyne, the post-game content is fucking ridiculous. I still need to go back and finish it, because there's just a lot to do in it, but it's very interesting. I finished Neofeud, that game I was going crazy about because of the racist black robot. Remember that shit? Turns out I like it. I ended up liking the game a lot. I'm serious. Once the game finally reveals what it's doing and then starts directly comparing capitalism to the monarchy and feudalism, I'm like, oh, this is good. It goes fucking nuts towards the end. I won't spoil it, but like, this is a very rough game, and there's a lot of decisions I don't agree with, especially with a lot of the flavor text and lore, but it does come together, and I actually felt sorry for the fucking racist caricature robot who's the black person, and I can't believe that happened. Weirdly good. I'm making a video on it right now because it was one of the games I was asked to write about, and I decided to upgrade that the video since I could actually capture footage. I started Seasons of the Wolf. It's one of the fantasy games from Winter Wolves. It's sort of a parallel game to Lauren the Amazon Princess, apparently happening around the same time. And it's very different. The combat, health carries over after fights, which is not normal in Lauren. And it's more about surviving in a time frame than, just plowing through and getting to the next point. I'm early in it, but it's very promising. Let's see here. Did that one. Okay, then it's just one last game. I bought and played a bit of Starlight Drifter. If you remember our Valentine's episode, with that one cross-dressing game, same studio, same artist actually, which is neat. And that's what got me to get the game in the first place, even though it's $20. I was expecting like a visual novel Mass Effect like, but it's really mechanically simple. All the events are pretty simple, and it's really just an excuse for the dating sim elements. But it's fun, goofy shit. Just be aware that if you choose to be a female character, there is an unskippable story scene where you get drunk and sleep with one of your dumb idiot guy crew members, and I don't know why they made that mandatory. That was a dumb decision. Otherwise, it's pretty fun, pretty forgettable, but still, I would look for it on sale. It has its moments, and I really like the art, so yeah, that's that. And that is what I've been playing. Go, Elmo.
Okay, I've been doing 7 things as well. It's actually 8, but I'm just not going to mention Celeste. I'm just going to do that next time, because it's too big and too good and too perfect to
Plus,
mention
a
in
new
passing.
chapter just came out.
Yeah. This is weird, because like, I played Celeste, I started it last week, and then the next day there was news like, hey, this Celeste, the final chapter's just going to come out next week. And
Also, Celeste is trans.
Madeline. Celeste is the name of the mountain.
The game Celeste is trans.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Also, I started playing Little Nightmares, and then the next day it was like, hey, Little Nightmares 2 is going to be coming out on the Switch. And like, I started playing Night in the Woods, and
I'm gonna cut that joke.
Yeah.
that's fair. So, I played 6 little things and 1 big thing. Little things. I played Blackwell Convergence. I want to finish all
Yay.
5 of the Blackwell games this year.
What do you think of the final act of that game? Because it goes fucking nuts.
It was good.
Oh, those references that game was making are actual real references. There was a crazy pelican man, and he really did try to write a book about the secrets of the universe.
Oh.
And that bar you go to, that used to exist, but it was demolished during development of the game.
Oh.
So yeah, all that is actually taken from New York mythology.
That's cool. It's weird how on the one hand, Blackwell, it's a completely, like, typical standard Wadgetai Games thing, but at the same time, a typical standard Wadgetai Games thing is still like a 7, 8 out of 10. They have a lot of really good games. I played Machinarium, because that's one of the first Steam games I bought, but I never really got around to it. It was by the people who did the Samaros, like, Flash game. It's a cute, funny little point-and-click story about a robot. Takes about 4 or 5 hours. It's great. It's good. I'm giving a thumbs up.
Cool.
Donut County. It's like Katamari Damacy, except instead of pushing stuff into a big ball, you're just a raccoon controlling a little hole in the ground, and you just suck everything up. It's really
Everything
fun.
goes in the hole.
Yep,
Fills the
everything.
emptiness. Just like what pornography is for.
Yay!
Yay, pornography.
It's fun, and it's funny, and it has a raccoon, and I just...
What kind of
it just
pornography
made...
are you watching?
And I don't know why, it just made me think about how, like, 6 years ago, I would be thinking, man, Skies of Arcadia, that's a great game, because it cost, like, I found it at a store for, like, second-hand, £20, and it's, like, 90 hours of RPG, that's a really great deal. And the biggest selling point of Donut County for me is you can beat it in 2 hours. It's great. Fantastic, I love it. Let's see. I started Assassin's Creed 3. Benjamin
I'm so sorry.
Franklin will not shut up about how much he... I'm not kidding. I was round a friend's house playing it. I enter a cutscene. Benjamin Franklin is talking about how much he likes having sex with older women. I get bored. I leave the room. I get my friend's, like, sandwich toaster out of the cupboard, plug it in, start making myself a grilled cheese, go back in the room. Benjamin Franklin, nothing, he's still going.
3 minutes.
I go back in, get my grilled cheese, start eating it. I go back in the living room, eat my grilled cheese. Benjamin Franklin is just still talking about having sex with older women.
How
Finish
old
my-
are they if he's talking about...
He was young once.
Not in that
And
game,
it's
as
like-
I remember.
And it's not even like a funny, subtle thing. Instead, he's just like,
Horse.
fields that are ploughed more regularly yield better crops. It's like, Benjamin! Let's see. That's a
2.5
fair point.
minutes.
I think we can.
Okay.
2.5 minutes.
Colour Symphony 2. I never played the first one. That's about it. It's a pretty fun platformer. It's the kind of thing where all the obstacles and platforms are either red, blue, or yellow, and you can turn the background red, blue, or yellow to make them disappear. If you heard that and thought, that sounds like on harder difficulties, it would be really unforgiving and annoying, then you're right. But it's
That
still...
sounds suspiciously like 140.
Oh, yeah. No, because it's kind of you're completely in control of whenever anything changes. Yeah. Oh, Eats Munchies. It's a really obviously a mobile game that was ported to Steam, but it's a pretty good one. It's like Lemmings and meets Cut the Rope. There's a little bunny, and you have to set up the levels so that when you press play, the bunny collects the cake. And that's it. It has a very like Rayman Origins style of like animation and level design. It was really nice. The big one I played was Little Nightmares, which is really good, and I love it, and it's one of my favourite games of the year. It's brilliant. It's I hate that I'm going to have to compare it to Limbo and Inside, because everyone else has already compared it to Limbo and Inside, but there's really nothing else that's that much like it. You're a tiny little child in a raincoat named Six, and there's this, you just wake up in this weird, creepy place that appears to be at sea, and you don't really get, you're not really shown much of what's going on. But it's a bit different to Limbo in that in those games they're really quite vague in what's going on.
Oh, less than a minute.
Yep, they're really quite vague, and there's a lot. That's what makes it kind of creepy. And in Little Nightmares, they definitely give you enough that you know generally what's happening, and that makes it more messed up. And it's really good, and level design's good, enemy design's great. They all look really creepy and messed up. That's about it. It's really good.
Alright, are we all done?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, then that gets us into our main discussion. So let's do this shit. The whatever the Cyberpunk slogan. Okay, we got 6 games to talk about. Some of them are demos, some of them are full tiny games with cool ideas, or just like some game student's project or whatever. So we're going to start with the game student project or whatever, Black Box, or as it's called by the file, Sword, by HDMM capital Y. That's HDMM capital Y.
Mine was named Sword.
Yeah, the file name is Sword.
Oh.
Yep.
I was confused when Dark said it at first too. Yeah,
That sure was a small thing.
I couldn't get past it because I found it a bit unpolished, let's say.
Well, yeah, it's obviously a rough look at this thing I can do now sort of thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's just not much to talk about.
No.
Did anyone beat it?
No.
No.
Do you want to know
So what happened at the end, Elmo?
This is great because you know the level that you.
Yeah.
Okay, you must have gone past like the first level, the one where there's literally one enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the next level after that is the last level. So,
Okay.
yeah, it was. To be fair, I died on it like 8 times as well, and well, that's about it. I died on it 8 times, but I don't know. It was fun enough that I kept. Let's just say there have been some games that we've covered on grab bags where if I die a couple times, I'll like just go, you know what? I gave it a shot. I'll put that in my notes and call it a day. And in this one, Black Box, I kind of thought, no, this is all right. You run around, you can go really fast, slightly janky, but
It reminded me of Hyper Life Drifter. Does Hyper Life Drifter have dashing?
I think so.
Yeah, because I feel like I've seen the dashing / combo thing a lot in 2D games lately, but I just haven't actually, played one of them.
Dashes are cool.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Yes, they are. It makes platforming a little hard in this particular game, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean it's like a little project.
Yeah.
It's a nice
Yeah, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
be mean to it or anything. It's
Yeah.
like, you did that. I can't do that.
I can't
You
do
did
that.
something better than I can.
nice proof of
kinda-
concept, tech demo-y sort of thing, sort of going. If I was a student, I was a teacher teaching, game design, and somebody handed it, I'd go, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, depending on probably the level of the class,
Oh, no, of
I'd give it
course.
an A. I'd give it an A.
Looks nice concept, plays nice, nothing game breaking in it.
It didn't crash. It worked.
It's good when games don't crash.
Keep working.
I can think
HDMM
of
capital
I
Y.
can think of other grab bags where like Black Box would definitely be in like the top half of
Yeah.
what we played. It's just a shame that it's like the
You mean
worst.
the horror one?
No.
We don't speak of the horror one.
It's okay, that was the bad one. We all know.
Yeah.
It's no trip to Yugoslavia.
Cool.
That was a good game.
That was my first episode.
It's no Anime the video game.
Now that was a legitimate classic.
Ugh.
My childhood friend, who
What
I've
was-
known since childhood.
What was that one from that same grad bag? I'm blanking on the name. The very Junji Ito inspired one.
Oh, World of Horror? That's
Yeah,
coming
World
out
of
later
Horror.
this year, hopefully.
God, I'm excited. I can't wait to play that game when it's done.
I'm definitely going to cover the full version, and I'm hoping that they finally get around to releasing that last episode in Void and Meddler. They won't.
You know that like Anime Soldiers one, Long Gone Days? That's out in early access now as well.
Oh, I think that's out in full now.
Oh, sweet.
So yeah, there are good video games out there. And
And-
also Black Box, which is not a bad video game.
IndieCent is ahead of the curve.
Black Box, not a bad video game.
I feel like we've just set ourselves up for a quote mine there. Like, there are good video games out there. There's also Black Box.
No one's going to care enough to take that out of context for Black Box.
I will.
I doubt even the developer would care enough.
I'll send it to the dev.
I hope he makes a full... I would like to see a full game. I would
Developer
like
will
to see a full game with these mechanics.
developer will be like, I made this 2 weeks and got an A, fucker. And actually, probably took a whole semester because these things take time. At least.
Second on the list is Neo Dogma Episode 1, or I should say Neo Dogma, because there's not going to be another episode as far as I can see.
That was-
Rose Tiger.
That was the RPG Maker one, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Something
I
really-
got stuck on that game.
so did I.
Was it
Oh.
pizza delivery?
I
Yeah.
did not finish it because I just was like, nah.
I got to a
I've
point
seen
where I didn't have any more healing items, and I just kept getting jumped by hobos.
Did you ever find the shotgun?
No.
There was a shotgun.
Just
Oh
go
my
to the bus
goodness.
shelter.
The minute you get the shotgun, you win.
Damn.
You just find
Yeah,
it
it's in the bus station.
bus station.
There was a bus
What
station.
bus station?
I got
There's a bus when you on one of your deliveries. If you go to the bottom right corner, you can find an area you can go into. That's the bus station where all the buses are. And if you look around in there, you'll find a shotgun.
I didn't even deliver the first pizza.
I
Where was
delivered
that
3
meant to go?
pizzas.
Where was that meant to go to? Because it's like,
You were meant to go to the spots on the map with the rose tiger skulls.
how do I get the map up?
One of them was
And
the
what-
place you started, and I couldn't find where to give a pizza there.
Oh no, you don't give a pizza there.
But it had
That's
the icon.
that's just a very confusing way to mark that that's where you came from, and that's like where your business is.
The thing is,
It was
It's
a
not-
terrible idea.
The game ends when you deliver the 4th pizza, so you didn't miss a great deal.
Okay.
No, I liked it. I could have played more of it.
somebody really liked
The
Prime.
problem with it was that it was very bare bones RPG maker,
Yeah.
but it's clear they didn't know how to balance an RPG.
Yeah.
I see this a lot with the amateur RPG maker stuff, because with that engine, you can do some pretty interesting stuff. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I played an entire fucking porn game made in that engine and enjoyed it greatly on a mechanical level because it did cool stuff with the framework.
Wasn't that
But-
the engine that Lisa was built in?
Yes, it was the engine Lisa was built
Yeah.
in. It was also the engine that Always Sometimes Monster was built in, and so
Yeah.
on and so forth. It has limitations, but it's way better than people get it credit for. But if you make a game in it, you need to have a solid idea of what you want to go for, and I just don't think the JRPG was a good fit for what they were trying to do here. I think it would have been more interesting if there was just no like RPG battles at all.
Yeah, probably.
So they more like mirror the Nicky
Just
games.
like more of a comedy adventure game where you try to deliver these pizza and get into wacky shenanigans like the hostage situation.
Or they should have just made Charles Barkley's Shut Up and Jam Gaiden 3.
It did feel though.
I said 3.
It did feel though very much like an extended album promo because like the discs.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, but there's worse games done for marketing albums.
I
It was
found
good music and had cool art and cool style and was pretty gay, and I appreciate that. It's just the actual game part was
Yeah.
I'd rather just go buy an album that Rose Tiger made if you want to support them.
I mean, let's be honest. Has there
they're on SoundCloud.
Has there ever been any game connected to an album that was like good?
Revolution X was
Yeah.
that connected to an album or just Aerosmith in general?
I think so. I think it was Aerosmith because like the only other one I can think of is like the weird. What was it? The David Bowie one, Unicron, the Nomad's Soul, which is just interesting.
That had nothing to do with David Bowie music. It was just a thing David
okay.
Cage made. Is like, we should get David Bowie in this. And then somehow they got David Bowie in it, and it was terrible.
And it's
David
got very-
Bowie thought it was awesome.
In my entire
For the
career,
record,
man.
David Bowie thought it was an awesome game.
There are definitely cool ideas there, but he didn't have to play the game itself. And that's where the problem is.
Yeah.
And also, all the cool ideas don't come together.
Remember when
Actually,
you inhabit that dude's body and then have sex with his wife?
Uh-huh.
At
That
the
scene
start
was
of the
lacking in
game.
emotion. There wasn't enough polygons.
That was the 90s was a very strange period. Because wasn't that the time
Honestly,
we
that's
also
more of a
got...
David Cage thing than a 90s thing.
Yeah,
Didn't we
David
also have
Cage
the-
has always been strange.
And it's just gotten worse. Like the Death Note guys.
Wasn't there like...
Have you read the recent manga? I would not.
Don't really want to. But there wasn't there like also the Bruce Willis game that just literally was starring Bruce Willis.
You mean Neofeud?
No, what was it? Armageddon starring Bruce Willis, and it was just Bruce Willis as Bruce Willis.
Oh, that was based on a movie.
No. There was a game called I think Armageddon or Apocalypse or something. And you just had
Yeah, that was based on a movie.
okay. What,
Yeah,
Apocalypse?
Bruce Willis was in a movie called Armageddon.
No, it wasn't called Armageddon. Hang on a minute. It was called Apocalypse. That was it.
He was in a movie called Armageddon, and that movie overshadowed an equally stupid movie about a meteor crashing into the Earth that had Morgan Freeman.
Was Vin Diesel in the Chronicles of Riddick games?
I would be surprised if he wasn't. Because that dude is a huge nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Apocalypse. It came out on the PlayStation.
Anyways, Neo Dogma.
I liked how...
Anyways, Joe Danger.
The dialogue reminded
My
me
Neo
kind of
Dogma
like
shrine. Ah!
The dialogue reminded me of like an old Pokemon game where like there's a guy in the pizza place who, if you talk to him, he goes, "Me and my girlfriend, we like the same type of pizza. That's so awesome. It's just a sign that we should be together." Then you talk to her and she's like, "I fucking hate pineapple on pizza. But he loves it so much, I just want to make him happy." That's what love's about, right? Sacrifice?
Shorts are comfy and easy to wear.
If I ever meet someone who forces me to eat pineapple on pizza, the relationship's over.
Honestly.
Unless I am allowed to eat chocolate pizza. Chocolate pizza's good.
Also, really...
Apocalypse was also a Bruce Willis movie. I think it wasn't released, though.
Okay.
I wonder why.
I remember there was like one game that came out based on a movie, but the movie never released.
Which is really weird.
Or am I remembering that wrong?
Uncharted?
No, that released. That was called Indiana Jones. See, we're very timely on this podcast.
Nathan Drake wishes.
Anyways, go buy Rose Tiger's music.
Yes,
it's pretty good.
It is good.
I would pass on Neo Dogma.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is nobody going to mention...
Actually, it's free, though. So, yeah.
Is nobody going to mention the incredible opening? There's like just an 8-bit cutscene of this boy escaping a facility.
No, it was honk panels.
Oh, I think I accidentally skipped through that. Because
so that's like...
I just woke up in bed one day.
That was cool, but I've seen the idea done better, including in another game we're going to talk about here a bit later.
No, it just made me laugh how... So there's a boy escaping this, like, evil science facility, and then it cuts to a girl hearing "help" from an alley, and then she takes the boy into this building and says, "This is your new home," and then you just get, like, Avengers Endgamed with this 5 years later. And now it's like, now you're delivering pizzas.
Wait, we never found out what happened to the guy. Did we?
What?
I forgot that intro even happened once I started delivering pizzas. Oh my god.
There we go.
Was there other ambitions for this? Oh god, we may actually get an episode 2. What the fuck?
I really hope so.
Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, it was a completely standard RPG. But like, yeah, standard RPGs are alright if you haven't played one for a while, like me.
Quest. Melty's Quest is the porn game I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
It's actually hard to recommend because it goes way too far into fetish territory towards the end. To the point where I'm even like, wow, this is gross. Me saying that. Think about that for a second.
Alright, what's next?
Outscore by Bright Future.
I really like this one.
I did too.
I thought it was really cool.
This is one
honestly,
of the best.
this was a good pile overall. Probably not as good as the anime one, where I liked most everything except that one gay game that was just a demo or whatever. But like that, this is a close second pick overall.
Yeah, there were 2 games in this that I would go, yeah, I'd buy these when they're full games, which is good for these grab bag episodes.
There are 4 of these I want to buy when they're full games, and they're the ones we're going to talk about now and later.
I'd buy all of them.
Yeah.
I have very low standards.
I did technically buy all of them. But
well, yeah, you gotta support developers.
Yeah.
Anyways, Outscore is a LucasArts style 2D point-and-click adventure game, and I am surprised Danny liked it just based on that description alone. I'm surprised Danny didn't press the power button when the game said press any button to continue, and then scream into the microphone for 5 minutes, and then made $1 million off of the video. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I
Honestly, that could actually describe a lot of YouTube celebrities now.
Yeah,
all
it's
of
hard to
them
pick.
But I'm talking about Aaron Hansen.
Yeah, I really liked. I really liked this one. I mean, I tried to get as far as I could into all of these, but this one it had nice. I mean, one, it had a good look to it, which I really liked, and it felt simple.
It definitely was.
And it felt simple enough without being obvious, and also just I don't know, something about it was easy to figure out, like, okay, where do I need to go, what do I need to click on. It was only at the very end that where I got a little confused, but then I was like, oh, I forgot to pick something up somewhere. Which, in a huge, like in a point-and-click adventure game with more than like 2 areas, that would be a problem, because then I'd be looking all over the place. But in this one, which is just a demo, which only had like 1 main area and 2 rooms, basically, you could go into.
It was 6 areas. It was 7 areas total.
I mean,
there was.
Yeah.
Let me count. There was the gate. There was the street. There was the alley.
Total.
There was the area in the alley. There was the bar. There was the bathroom, and then there was a checkpoint.
Yeah, total areas, but kind of in the main area where you're doing most of the gameplay. You couldn't go back into the first 2 areas, so you only had inside the bar, inside the bathroom, and then the back alley in that room.
Oh, then there's 8 because I forgot the forest where a cutscene takes place.
Yeah, but I just mean, like, you know, the street and the connecting rooms to it.
You were wrong, Danny.
Like it made going through them to find the thing I was missing quick, and I don't know, it felt more logical than some of the point-and-click adventure games that have really, really annoyed me.
I think something that's going to be interesting about Outscore when it comes out is that it looks like it's going to have multiple solutions for puzzles thanks to that score mechanic they mentioned.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting.
I think what they're doing is basically taking the old Sierra era, like a scoring system where you would doing certain actions would get you points, like you're discovering secrets or completing puzzles more completely, and you would get more points. But now they're tying it into the narrative in a really interesting way, especially with the Cyberpunk theme, by taking the actual thing that is happening right now in China with the citizenship score shit, and like making that a part of the story and a part of how you progress through the game, and maybe that will change what options you have depending on your citizen score.
Yeah, that really interested me, like, because there was a point where I was like, I don't know what else I'm supposed to do here. I could just walk up to this cop and just completely sell out all these people who helped me just to get through, or I could go back and try and figure out like how to get around it. And I eventually did just like power through and figure my way around it.
Yeah. So that's going to be interesting to see more in the future, especially since this game ends with you getting ready to accidentally do a terrorism.
Yeah.
I love the main character. He's so stupid.
The dialogue was really good in this game. Like, it had a good balance. Like, it had some good sarcasm in there without being too about it, you know?
Yeah, he's very Guybrush. He's very straight-laced, but also a bit of a dumbass. Like, he never goes too far in any one direction, which I like.
Yeah.
So, like, the world is very serious. The characters do joke around, but they're usually pretty serious and act as you would expect people to act. And your main character is mainly using humor as a crutch, but he's also, like, trying to seriously accomplish something. So, like, it's fun. It's not, like, trying to be in your face about humor or being overly serious. It gets the right balance, and that's hard to do.
Yeah.
Especially when you have graphics this simple, but I think work. I think this was a style choice.
Definitely.
Yeah, I like the look of it, and I liked the dialogue. I liked how it played, kind of having only the 2 buttons where you can interact with something or you can look at it. Also helps because I mean in some, like, especially older point and clicks, it's like, oh, you can, like, you click on something, it's like, do you want to take it? Do you want to touch it? Do you want to lick it?
Do you want to lick it?
Do you want it? They just have like an icon of an ear on it. Do you want to ear it? Neofeud does that a little, but not nearly as bad. I'll say that right now. Yeah. do you want to look at it or do you want to examine it? Like, what?
Then you really should play more Watch It Eye games, because at a certain point they all just use this unified system of 2 options.
I could play NBA 2K20 instead.
Gambling.
Yeah. But yeah, I really like this one, and I want to play through this when it's hopefully finished.
Yeah, that was a fun find. I picked it out because the page is really awesome, and it has like a mock-up like a 90s era PC game box.
That's cool.
That was really nice touch.
And
like, this is something clearly someone cares a lot about, and I want to see more like adventure games from people other than just anyone who's ever worked with Watch It Eye, who seem to be holding up the industry right now.
Yeah, and I think a good thing I can say about this game, a good thing I can say about this grab bag is this was my second favorite game from the batch.
Oh,
yeah, I
really
buy
like
this
this
game.
one line. I really like the line where, because you start with like, oh, I have a citizen score, and I need to, my citizen score has to be this high to get back inside the city, and someone's stolen all my citizen points or something, and there's this massive, horrible wall and gate keeping you out, and then you just find like a cork and a pin, and you make a screwdriver, and you hack the wall terminal. And as you step in, the character goes, I wonder how much it cost to build such an ineffective wall. And I was like, oh, political satire.
Politics.
I like when you go up to go up to like the drunk guy on the street, like the drunk homeless guy on the street, and he's like, yeah, you need a citizen score of like 5 to get through here. And he's like, I'm like, I don't have any. And he's like, you don't have any? He's like, geez, dude, you're fucked. And then he like throws up or something.
The only thing that disappointed me about this game is that when you get the solution to mess with the face sensors is to get like a particular type of makeup, I'm disappointed it wasn't Juggalo makeup.
This was probably made before that, but
Whoop whoop.
I thought it was funny that it was basically like a David Bowie makeup.
Yeah, overall outscore, I would say actually go get this demo right now,
Yeah.
because you can support the developer this way, and I like to see this come out one day.
Yeah, it worked very well. I didn't have any like glitches or like it felt polished and like just really good all around the board.
I also like that it doesn't feel like a game inspired by a Watch It Eye hit. Like, I had this problem with Kathy Rain where it was good, but the entire time I was playing it was like, this is just the structured diverse Blackwell game all over again. And like, Outscore clearly wants to do its own thing, and its inspiration is from the classics, but only the good parts of the classics. So like, yeah, that's promising.
Also, I think a thing it really did well, like, and better than some of the other games, kind of in this grab bag, at setting up its universe, it didn't just dump a bunch of exposition. It doled out some information more when it was relevant. And even then, it didn't, like, explain the whole world right then and there to try and, like, give away, like, oh, look at how cool this world I've built is. I'm gonna throw all of the rules and everything that's happening on you, like, from the start.
You're dunking on Vengeful Heart, aren't you?
I am dunking on Vengeful Heart.
To be fair, that is a kinetic novel, not, like, a normal type of game. We're gonna have to go at that at a different angle.
Is Kathy Rain not Watch It Eye Games?
No, Watch It Eye only did the voice work for it.
Oh.
For the English dub. The original game was developed by some guys in Sweden who really liked Twin Peaks.
Up until now, it was my second favourite Watch It Eye Games game, after Techno Babylon.
The reason all the characters sound so similar is because most of the actors are just Watch It Eye actors. And there's also one guy named after their most famous actor, except that actor is not actually in that game, which is weird.
The level select screen is Kathy riding a motorbike into the sunset.
Yep.
It's awesome.
I really enjoyed this.
So,
Okay.
guessing, is the next one going to be Vengeful Heart, or is it going to be Sense?
Yeah, Vengeful Heart by Hanuli.
One last thing I'd like to say, I hope they change the name from Outscore. I don't think that's a good
I like
name.
it. I see where they're going with that. It's a play on like the like classical game titles like Flashback and stuff like that, but also referencing the citizenship score of the game that's going to be like the main hook. So it makes sense.
But outscore isn't a word.
It is now.
Underscore.
And under.
Anyway, Vengeful Heart.
Vengeful Heart. I was surprised this was a kinetic novel. I was expecting a visual novel, maybe with some sort of mechanic, but no, it is a kinetic novel, and I've only actually played one of these before, and that was Cherry Tree High IMI Girl several years ago, which I would also recommend.
It seems like there will be choices in the full release because it talked about having different romance options.
Yeah, but it's kind of weird there's like no options here.
Yeah, definitely. I would have expected them. So maybe it's just going to be very, very light choices and only in like a couple spots. Because I've seen those in some games.
So this is a game that has to survive mainly on the merits of its writing. And in that department, I'd say it actually succeeds quite well.
I have to disagree.
Oh, you don't like the original Fate Stay Night, do you?
I have never read it.
I would not if you did not like this. You would lose your mind.
With the whole Fate franchise, I'm fine just looking at the art from the sidelines. But yeah, like I said before, I thought I had some cool concepts in there and some good writing. But there were so many exposition dumps that
I wouldn't say it was I don't think the right term you're looking for is exposition dump, because you only get one major exposition jump when you're going to the office. Once you are out of the office, there's no more real exposition. It's just character thoughts.
That
and
kind of
dialogue.
Kind of. That was like the most of it, but that was the entire first act of the game, and there were so many times I came close to just like exiting out like this is just not, because my eyes were completely glazing over reading it.
That's disappointing. It was just I think I know what the problem is.
I played through to the end, but there were just so many like it was just, there would be an action and it felt like there were just pages of description about everything else around. And
that's because this is not written like most visual novels you're used to playing. This is written like an actual novel. This is what reading an actual novel feels like, except now there's pictures along with it.
Yeah, and that's kind of the problem, because in a novel you can just focus on the words, but in this you have the visuals, you have like all the music going, there are distractions.
But here's the thing, that's not as odd as you think it is for this genre. You'll never guess what the original Fate Stay Night was like.
I'm not saying
Higurashi is the same. All like some of the most famous visual novels you know of read exactly like this, maybe even wordier.
I'm not saying it's odd for the genre. I don't think it's good storytelling.
I do.
Yeah, I'd say agree with it.
So how handsome was that handsome guy, eh?
That was
as I said, what a game like this has to go on is the writing quality, and I think it succeeds. The other kinetic visual novel I mentioned was just all character dialogue, but this is trying to get you in the thoughts of the characters, and I think that makes the world way more interesting, because you get an idea where everyone's coming from while not getting quite everything. Like, I like how the inner dialogue for our main character is handled, so you don't really fully understand. She's not telling you everything about who she is, but you're picking up on details from her thoughts and her observations, and like how she reacts to certain things, and then it starts to become clearer over time. Like, that's a good sign of good novel writing. I appreciate that a lot.
I don't know, just for a lot of it, she's just explaining. It's like she's explaining to, like she's just directly explaining to the viewer. She's not narrating her own thoughts. She is like stopping to look at the viewer and just like explain, okay, this works like this and this and this and this and now.
Well, yeah,
and then I ran across the platform.
But it makes sense because she's an engineer. She's thinking to herself about all this stuff that excites her, that she's working on this big project and all that, how this works and how it fascinates her. Like, that makes sense to me. I'm used to reading stuff like this in novels. This is how characters like her usually think in those novels. It's not direct exposition. It is exposition, but it's disguised as her thoughts, and I think that works well enough.
They could just dole it out in smaller dumps. Because like I said, that was the entire first act. it felt like just pages of stuff, and then something happens, but something
Well, yeah,
very
it is
small.
pages of stuff. That's how novels read.
You're not
Like,
you're not getting what I'm
every-
saying, or I'm not describing it well enough. I'm not expressing myself well enough, but yeah, I thought some faces aside, I thought the art looked really good, and I thought the music was great. It had a good look to it.
The only problem I have with the art is that the faces look a little off, but I think that's because of whatever graphical style they're working with here. This developer has one other game that's fully completed that is not a class project on their itch.io. You can pay for it right now if you want, and it looks like it's some sort of romance drama or something set in like the 1800s. I didn't take a close look at it, but it looks rougher than this, is what I'm saying. But they make up for it with all the cool environmental stuff and the very PC 98 style overly designed menus.
Yeah,
I love shit like that.
Yeah, I liked how it looked. It looked really good.
What did you think, Tama?
I really enjoyed this. Of the most of this, I think this is the most cyberpunky of the lot. I mean, I've read
Oh yeah.
quite a lot of cyberpunk. This is like this, you know, this. There isn't that much divorced between this and sort of, you know, works like writers like William Gibson. So, and obviously, yes, obviously it is a novel, and obviously it is a kinetic novel. But I feel like and as you said, games like this live or die by the writing, and the writing of this is really good. And like the whole package is really good.
I just realized we didn't explain what the premise is. So yeah, it's basically about a water company trying to muscle in on low rent housing for a major project to gain control of the city's water supply. And it goes to a really dark place I was not expecting by the end. So like, it has me hooked now.
Yeah, this is.
But yeah, when I say this was probably the most cyberpunk, as Thomas said, that's what I mean by it. It fucking goes there. This is not just like trappings, like thematically, it's going deep into why capitalism is fucking bullshit.
Yeah, this
Protagonist. She was kind of a dope.
Yeah, I think that's the point, and like that's why she has that arc throughout this entire prologue, where she's kind of opening up to the things she's known about on like just like in her like on the side in her professional. Why am I saying professional? I don't want to say that.
The one thing I don't kind of understand about the logic.
Peripheral vision.
The logic.
Peripheral vision, and then kind of waking up to the full reality of what's happening and making a decision, and then shit gets real, and she has to learn from there.
Yeah.
What she's gonna do about it.
The one thing that I don't get, like I think it would still 100% make sense if this whole thing happens and suddenly everything that happens in her building happens, and I can see her not knowing that that's what was going to happen and being like, what? I can't believe you do this to these people. I had faith that you'd do this ethically. But then it's like, oh, well, you designed the whole system. You knew this was going to happen to people. And she's basically like, I didn't know it was going to happen to me.
Yep, that's how it works. You'd be surprised.
But for her to be like that and then become this like revolutionary leader is.
Yeah, that's how it happens for a lot of people.
The leopards eating people's faces party game.
Did you know I come from a very conservative family? And how I am like the only person in my family who is not a conservative?
Oh, what's that like? I wouldn't know.
I'm just saying, like, seeing injustices is what got me there. Like, experiencing my own injustices is what got me to change my viewpoint. Like, I get what this is doing, and I kind of like that how this starts out with her just, like, realizing she can't be a part of this capitalist dream she wants to be a part of. I mean, that the only thing that really matters she has to defend for herself.
The thing I'm saying is it's not just her, like, being a part of the company. It's that it's like Ted Cruz suddenly becoming a revolutionary leader.
She's not that bad.
She designed the whole fucking plan.
She designed the whole plan, but she didn't want to carry it out like with fucking kill squads.
It crossed the line for her way before the kill squads. Like she
Oh, yeah.
she designed the whole, oh yeah, we're gonna do this, we're gonna kick everyone out of the building, and then they're gonna be homeless.
That's because, once again, engineer. When she's thinking about all these problems, she's thinking about the greater picture, but not the people actually affected by it. And then she's suddenly in a situation where she's forced to look at the actual consequences of her actions.
Basically, Spec Ops the line.
She's a dope.
Yeah, and then she gets smart.
And that's the sort of a big thing of Cyberpunk is the sort of, the corporations. I mean, hell, let's take probably the most famous Cyberpunk game of probably the last 30 years, Final Fantasy, and Final Fantasy is very much sort of like, these mega corporations that control everything. Oh, you're not going to hear about sort of, these terrorists being actually, or sort of doing good stuff because they own the media. They own everything. They have a private police force. I mean, this is the sort of the thing that a lot of Cyberpunk goes over is these mega corporations, controlling every aspect of people's life, and it's sort of like if you're a small person in the system, and you've basically spent your entire life having the company which controls every aspect of your life going, yeah, things are swell, and sorry that sort of things don't work, but we'll sort them out, and this and that, and then sort of going, oh, you've got to go now. It's sort of like it does capture sort of that key tenet of Cyberpunk very, very well indeed.
Plus, there's also the whole abstraction issue that when you're designing things on paper, you're not looking at the actual people you're going to affect. So that's why it's important for her to be affected by this, because then she's forced to confront what she's actually done and fully understand it in the human cost and not just in numbers. So yeah, I get where it comes from. And I also like little details like the two of the characters being war vets and how they viewed the situation and their own crimes in the past. Like that really haunting one when the old man is talking about the only thing he really regretted was when he basically gunned down a bunch of civilians, but other horrible shit he's describing, he doesn't seem too worked up about. Like, it's little details like that that make the world feel larger and give you an idea just how harsh this world actually is. And like, I just really like this. There's a lot going on here, and it's not all like told to you like a dumb idiot, which I like. It respects that you're able to read into things.
It is also very
On the one hand,
gay.
I can see how... Oh, sorry. Yeah. On the one hand, I can see how it wouldn't work. It definitely wouldn't appeal to everyone with it being like, I'm gonna make people homeless. And then 5 minutes later, making people homeless bad? Oh no! But on the other hand...
that's actually how it works
yeah.
in reality.
On the other hand, I did pay like the $5 on Itch.io for this, which means that when it comes to Steam, I'll get it for free! Haha!
Yeah, same here.
Wait, it's not for free if I paid $5. Oh, damn it!
It's VA11 strategy.
I've been finagled again.
I wonder if Coffee Talk did that strategy, because I remember paying for that demo, but I don't know if I'm actually going to get a key when it gets fully released. I'll figure it out later. Note to self, if Coffee Talk ever comes out, do an episode on that. Okay. So are we all done with Vengeful Heart?
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably the best.
Alright, let's move on to the horniest game by a significant mile since, a cyberpunk ghost story by Susaku, and more importantly, Top Hat Studios.
I've just written Tokyo Dark with jiggle physics,
Yeah.
and that's all I've got for this one.
I'm gonna guess this was near the top of your favorites, Dark.
I'm actually still debating on it in my head here. We'll find out when we get to the list part.
Because this one was lowest for me.
Did you... Oh yeah, you played the Steam demo, so you played the proper one.
Yes, I did play the Steam demo. I got about a half hour into it.
Yeah, I made this list by what I found most interesting, not by what I liked the most. So I'm going to say that now. Like, Sense isn't going to be one of my top picks.
I have to kind of ask because
Hang on, I ain't got to go barking my dogs. Keep talking.
Yeah, this game is interesting because, like, I don't think you can get hornier in a game without it being, like, M18 explicit, do not buy a small child sort of levels. Because it's like...
I have to ask, because I played the itch.io one and not the Steam one, so I want to know, like, on the itch.io one, it ended, like, I went past a ghost and then I got to an elevator, and that's when it ended? Is that when the Steam one ends, or what else happens?
No.
Let me explain the differences from the itch.io one to the Steam one. In the Steam one, they removed that QTE with the car. That was pointless.
Yeah.
Which I like. You don't get to just get all those paper offerings right away. You have to wait until you start knowing that you need to get them by talking to the guy to move the car. Let's see. For some reason, after you examine something, you usually can't re-examine it unless you absolutely have to for finding an item or completing a puzzle, which is weird to me. They added in a virtual stripper in the bar.
Yep, they sure did.
Which was great. And it made it easier to understand how you're supposed to deal with a ghost. Like, it doesn't spawn right away when you get to the second floor. Now, it spawns only after you've gotten a bit in and has been exploring the office a little. And then it appears, and you can dodge it, and the dodge actually makes sense in the Steam version. And there's like a timer now that tells you how long you have to do the dodge when you get the prompt. And then you can continue on to some hotel rooms. And that demo finally, there's even a hiding spot when the ghost comes back that you can use. So there will be hiding in the final game, which I was wondering why that wasn't in the itch.io version.
I love horror games where you hide from stuff. Damn it.
Yeah. And then you can explore rooms, solve more puzzles, and eventually have to make an offering in order to stop this situation that's happening, and then the demo ends.
So I played this for about a half hour. I got to the third floor, and I couldn't find anything that I needed. And it sounded like that I maybe had to go down to the other floors to find stuff now.
You did?
I did. I went to the second floor, accidentally walked into the electrical stuff, and died. And went back to the beginning of the game. Went back to the beginning of the game, and I was like, nope.
Yeah, that's weird. The itch.io demo did not have that problem because you would just let you start roughly where you died. But in the Steam demo, no.
And I didn't even know I could walk into that stuff because the first time I was walking into it, it stopped me and it was like, whoa, I can't go past there. But then the second time I tried to walk, like I accidentally walked past that way. I got too close and died.
All you had to do was rummage through, I think the second drawer on the file cabinet. You got interrupted with the file cabinet stuff because that's when the ghost appeared the first time.
Yeah.
And then you find the key you need for a room, and you can continue on from there. There's cool. I like the graphical effect the third floor had with the perspective, and you hit it, and then you could switch. It would flip around when you're going into the next part of the hall to match the perspective. It actually used it for a pretty cool low-key scare where you can clearly see a ghost in one of them one of the halls, and you're like scared to go down there, but you kind of have to anyways.
Yeah, the perspective stuff looked really cool. I did not like the sprites themselves.
I did.
I didn't like the way they looked. I didn't like the way they animated.
I liked both of those things. It's a very horny game.
It is a very horny game up until and including
the holograph stripper.
I was going to go back a little bit earlier than that, actually.
Yeah.
Oh,
when you
the
see
mistress in the alley with the two slave women.
They're actually real people.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if the game was being really horny, if it was trying to be like if it was trying to be like this is what the hypersexualized future once augmenting happens.
No, they're just a very horny studio.
Okay.
Go look on Top Hat Studio's Steam page. You'll see a lot of horny stuff.
Then I feel more confident about hating those sprites.
Hang on. They're also very open to queer stuff. Like, that blind date she's waiting for is another girl.
I still hate those sprites.
Disappointing, Danny.
It's good to
And you're here liking Fire Emblem Fates and the sister character. Hypocrite.
I never claimed
There was
not
a
to be a
fucking touching minigame in that game the first when in Japan.
Hell yeah. It's like
And
Pokemon.
here you are. And here you are.
That's good to hear the good and queer stuff, because once I got to the bar and like she just mentioned she was waiting for a date and the bartender said, "Oh, I'll keep an eye out for any boy," I was like, huh. But
And she's like, I never said it was a boy or something like that.
I don't remember her saying anything to contradict that, but
She did, but I don't remember if it was in the Steam version. It was definitely an itch.io version. And
I don't think it was.
All the promo art has her and another girl in the like cover. So like, yeah, lesbians.
Okay.
Possibly bisexual, probably lesbians.
That's cool. I really don't. Maybe I tabbed through it too fast. I just didn't remember any line about her contradicting that. But that is good to hear, because I kind of saw that and the horniness. And
yeah, they're just a very horny, very queer studio.
I mean,
some straight stuff, some gay stuff. It's all good. It's all horny.
I'm not gonna hate on them for doing their thing.
I should mention that Top Hat Studios are mainly the publishers for this, but if it's anything like a Watch It Eye development deal, they have a significant part in development as well, which might be part of the reason the art direction is what it is. Because this Isaku person doesn't seem to have done anything else, as far as I can tell. So this may be a first-time project, and then the studio came in to help them out, which Watch It Eye does a lot, which is how you get like Techno Babylon or Resonance and stuff like that. So it's kind of a joint venture.
I did find it kind of frustrating that there was stuff, like I couldn't pick stuff up that was like clearly available that I would later need. I found that kind of annoying.
That was not in the itch.io version, I should mention. You could just pick stuff whenever and skip ahead in the quest. I'm surprised they changed that.
Like that they let me interact with it and look at it, but then be like, oh no, you can't pick it up yet. And then
it didn't
literally
make
to
the
go
last
to...
puzzle. Yeah, it made the last puzzle go on a bit too long when you're putting together the picture and getting the incense ready and all that. Like, that wasn't necessary. I think there's some good ideas in the itch.io demo and some good ideas in the Steam demo that they need to take into account in both versions to make the full game better overall.
Yeah, like checkpoints.
Yeah, I think there is... there was checkpoints in the itch.io version.
Definitely not in the Steam version.
Yeah, it was weird. I wanted to look at some stuff because I got a key for another room I didn't bother to go in when I was finishing up the demo and the Steam demo. But I never got to that room because it wasn't necessary to do the incense thing, and I didn't realize the incense thing would stop the demo. But then I only had the option of new game, so that was kind of annoying.
Nicely made game, visual style very good, very impressively horny.
There's a lot of I like the environmental design, and I like some of the cyberpunk details, like when the scene where she's checking on her eyes in the bathroom and they literally just open up like that. Like, that kind of makes sense for how that would work. Yeah, it makes sense in a utility way. Like, this stuff is going to be buggy because it is technology, so sometimes you need to do self-maintenance, and this would be an interesting way for someone to do that themselves. Like, there's a lot of thought put into how things work in this universe, and also boobs.
When that happened, I thought it was going to be like a They Live situation, where like something like her eyes have been programmed one way by the corporation or something to see the world differently than it is. Like, so when she came out of the bathroom and like everything was dirty, there was stuff written on the wall, I was like, is this like hell? Is this reality? Did she turn off something? Did she put on the sunglasses?
Ghost!
But no, I never found out what it was because
it was Ghost.
I walked into an electrical.
Silent Hell dimension. Ghost. And
Cyber
if you read
ghosts?
the notes, if you read the notes, it looks like these ghosts are related to the corporations ruling the world, so we'll find out more about that. It looks like it is going to be a proper ghost story, but in a cyberpunk setting, and it will relate narrative-wise to the cyberpunk stuff. Which is cool, because I've never seen that combination before.
Yeah, it's not a
And
common...
I like that it's... I really hope they don't go with the cyber ghost thing, unless they have an interesting spin on it, because I'm tired of that.
Cyber ghosts.
Cyberghosts.
I like this one. I still have my problems though because there's still a little like design decisions they need to think on more. But there's definitely promise here, and I'm definitely going to play the full version when it releases.
It's on my wish list, but even if it ends up being my favourite game of the year, it's probably not something I'm going to publicly recommend to anyone.
I will.
Just because you walk 2 inches and your breasts just fly 3 feet in the opposite direction.
And your arms kind of clip into each other.
Yeah.
Content warning, jiggle physics.
I will probably pass on it. Down for some horny, but that horny art just didn't do anything for me.
That's surprising considering you like Fire Emblem Fates!
Big boob edition.
Do not get me started on that game!
Her boobs do not look like that.
They do.
To be fair, they are well-armoured boobs. Unlike
There's a very tasteful boob window in her armor.
To be fair, she is like a aerial unit.
The girl in
Good
this
luck.
game has more clothes on her boobs than the girl in Fire Emblem Fates.
She's an aerial
Yeah, exactly,
unit.
it's terrible.
She's an aerial unit. You need to consider weight for that. You need to consider weight and...
It's aerodynamic.
Yeah.
Sense is a good game. I like it.
It's-
Let's move on to the last and the best game by far that we're all definitely going to pick as our favorite.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And if you disagree, I will throw a boot at your head.
From across the Atlantic.
I won't do that, but
Yes.
I won't say anything.
Objection.
File Maniac.
No, that's not how you pronounce it. That's not how you pronounce it. It's spelled
File,
file. It's all in lowercase. File,
Filet
and
Maniac.
then whatever it's called, and then / Maniac by Born Frustrated Studio. This is a very good game.
This
I
was a
love
very
this
good
game.
game.
I hated it.
Did anyone get
I loved it, I'm sorry.
Get a really Twin
I just wanted it to be
Peaksy
different.
Get your boot ready.
Of this?
So this one is seems to be just a game jam game, but I hope that they revisit these mechanics because it's basically doing something a lot of indie games have done, like I'm Scared or Doki Doki Literature Club or crap. What was the first game we played for indie? Masochissia. That's it.
Masochissia.
What was that?
Masochissia.
The Sonic Collection?
The Sonic Collection do that?
Sonic Dreams Collection?
Sonic Dreams Collection, that's it.
It had stuff where you went through the files.
Yeah.
Oh, and of course that one game we played for the horror grab bag.
That didn't
The
work
one with
properly.
Sam's Undertale.
Oh god, that one.
Not Sans Undertale.
I can't remember the name.
Undertale?
I think it was a dark place. Or something like that.
But yeah, this game is really cool. It's like this little kind of sort of semi-horror, I guess you could say, kind of setting.
7 game.
Yeah, where you're
7 game.
you're investigating like a serial killer. There's not like a lot of story, but
You have to find the sex criminal.
yeah, like it says.
Because see, the guy who played the bad guy in 7 was a sex criminal.
Yep.
He's on YouTube. He started uploading gameplay videos again.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Heated gaming moment. But yeah, and it like you open up the file explorer on your computer and it starts like making files as you play, and you have to edit the files to do things in the game, to solve the puzzles in the game.
You have to stop the sex criminal. I forget his name.
Did everyone
Because
figure out how to solve the loop?
he was such a bad
Yes.
actor. He's such
Is
a bad
Kevin-
actor. In every
Kevin
role,
Spacey?
in every role he has, he just does the "I'm too cool for everything" thing, and everyone falls for it every time. He's worse than George Clooney.
Kevin Spacey?
Yes.
He's in Baby Driver, but he gets hit by a car, so it's good.
Yeah, I did like that part of Baby Driver.
Is he an apocalypse?
I don't know.
It's just
If he did, he was very unmemorable.
just still looking at the apocalypse.
I
box
actually
art.
forget he's in movies where he's the star. He's that unmemorable and also a sex criminal.
File Maniac. File Maniac.
So what I like about this game the most is that it basically takes a very worn out idea that a lot of indie games do these days, but it commits to it fully and creates a really interesting experience I haven't seen before. Like, this is the metagame idea fully realized in a very interesting way where it's a part of the mechanics and not just another narrative trick.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate that so much. That's such a cool idea.
Yeah, and the puzzles they present themselves well. So that, like, it doesn't give away the answer, but it's also not terribly difficult.
It's definitely like the kind of game where if it got really difficult, I would just give up really quickly.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, looking around.
Yeah, I got close to giving up. I got close to giving up on solving the loop until I finally figured it out. Kind of by messing around with different stuff.
Now I'm not sure if I did break the loop correctly. What did you do to break it?
I deleted the thing.
Yeah.
Hooray!
Yeah,
okay.
you just delete like the whole user file. Because I just started deleting everything and nothing happened. And then I was like, okay, this is the last thing I'm going to delete, then turning it off. And I just deleted the whole file. And
Windows wouldn't let me do that. So I had to basically reboot the entire game and then just delete.
Are you sure you were in the correct folder?
Yes. Because somebody...
Were you trying to delete System 32?
Not again.
it's like the gif of just dragging my computer into recycle bin.
Press any button to continue. Drags the computer to the file bin.
Where is the
I didn't
computer
do anything, stupid game designers. Am I gay or am I not? You'll never know.
This was a cool
I'm
game.
not a big fan of Aaron Hansen.
I would happily have played like a more complicated version of this. The problem is I don't think you could really run that concept out for much longer than it is like in this, because otherwise,
if you had the right narrative framing, you could.
Like if you
I want to know,
because this game doesn't have a narrative. It's just like there's a bad guy, and you have to do the things with your files to catch the bad guy, and then you break the loop and it's done.
I'd like to know what everyone's like first attempt at breaking the loop was.
Closing the game and
I
starting
deleted
again.
the file.
So you deleted the right file on the first try?
Yeah, I looked at what it asked me to do, and I was just like, I looked at the files and tried to figure out what I haven't really messed with, and I realized, oh wait, would deleting the game itself solve the problem?
Okay, because my first instinct was I deleted the credits. Because if the developers were gone, then nobody could make the game.
You overthought it.
I overthought it. But I did get it right again.
I just like looked in the comments on the itch.io page until eventually someone was just like, I'm stuck on the end. How do I beat it? And
I did do that for the skulls, but for the ending, I actually figured that one out.
I did figure out the skulls, and I did it without clicking on them to see their names. Like I just, it just said, like I was just like, I bet I have to like change these.
No
numbers.
scope 360.
Yeah, no scope 360. I was like,
That's not how it goes.
So I just
call yourself a gamer.
No Skull 360.
I will never call myself a gamer. But yeah, I was like, I saw these numbers, and I was just like, bet I have to move these around. So I just started moving around until, like, in the game, it was like green light. I was like, yeah.
I think only the elevator puzzle bugged me until I realized how to read the directions.
Yeah.
This game is ridiculously clever, but it all makes sense. And there's, like, it's an interesting evolution of the, like, adventure game item puzzle, because you don't have to worry about having too many options.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to figure out, and the line of logic never gets too strange. You understand what you have to work with, you just got to figure out what the correct parts are.
Yeah,
and then once you do that, you can start piecing it together.
And you can't back yourself into a corner because you can just reset it. And it...
Yeah.
And if you, like, accidentally delete something you're not supposed to delete, you can just reset it. And it's...
Aaron Hansen deleting System 32.
Did he do that? Or is that just...
No,
okay.
Of course not, but I wish he did.
Is System 32 even still in Windows these days?
I think so? I don't know.
So yeah, go play File Maniac, it's good. We're not Oh wait, we already told them how to solve the final puzzle.
Oh, we're sorry.
Well, the others are still really interesting, so go play it. Alright, let's get to the rankings. I'm gonna go first. My favorite is obviously File Maniac, it goes without saying. I would say my second favorite, it's a difficult pick between Outscore and Vengeful Heart, but I'm gonna go with Outscore, because I appreciate, like, old school style adventure games that are only old school in the sense of their personality and not their mechanics. Although I do wish you could have gotten Juggalo Paint. That's a missed opportunity. Then third, I'm going to go Vengeful Heart. I really like the writing and want to see more of the story. Like, it hooked me correctly. Fourth is Sense. I have some issues with some of the design choices they're making, but the story seems interesting. I love the art style, and I think it's horny in that way that's not too overbearing. It's just, there's horny stuff here, but there's also this serious ghost shit, so you should probably focus on that. And, like, I'm one of the people who doesn't, like, really pay close attention to when my characters are moving on screen, except, like, no, I just don't pay attention to that at all, so the boob physics didn't bug me at all. I noticed it once, like, oh. And then I would put Black Box 5 and Neo Dogma 6. Something about Neo Dogma is bugging me. I wish it just got rid of the RPG elements and was just a wacky adventure game where you, like, go to a hostage situation, deliver a pizza, and it played out exactly like it did in the game, except there was no random battles.
I think that would definitely be better.
Yeah, the random battles took away from what this game was actually good at. Oh, what about all of you?
I had File Maniac first.
Correct.
I thought it looked good. I thought the concept was really, really fun and neat. I had Outscore second, just because it didn't do anything like as clever as File Maniac, which is probably the only reason why it's below. Because I thought it was really solid, and I really liked it, and I want to play the full game when it comes out. I had Vengeful Heart third.
What?
Yeah, I had Vengeful Heart third.
Did you hate the other ones?
I thought Vengeful Heart had probably the best art of the whole three. Some of the faces aside. I mean, Francis is pretty hot. And it had good music. I really loved the presentation of it. Like I said, yeah. I had qualms with the writing, but it definitely picked up in the second half for me. And there were a lot of times I was like, I don't know how much longer this is going to go. Maybe I should click out, but I kept reading it because I was interested in what was going on. I had Neo Dogma, that's the first three. The bottom three, it was a hard decision between Neo Dogma and Black Box. Just because they're both just kind of like, yeah, they're playable, but I couldn't really finish either of them. I don't know, I guess Neo Dogma kind of edged out just because I like the music, I guess, and some of the art. And then Sense was the bottom for me because I just did not really like it.
Danny, you played Fire Emblem Fates.
Fire Emblem Fates had better models.
Danny, you said that you would play the Supersonico game.
Sense is just not my brand of horny. Also, it was really frustrating to play.
My dogs disagree with you.
I think they're yelling at you because they agree with me.
Actually, I think they're barking outside.
No, I'm pretty sure they're yelling at you.
Who wants to go third?
Oh, I'll go third. So I would put File Maniac and I've completely forgotten the title of it. Outscore on number 1. I would then put Vengeful Heart on number 2. Sense at number 3.
You tied File Maniac and Outscore?
I tied File Maniac and Outscore, sorry.
Okay.
No ties.
And then the other two somewhere.
Which is the better one? Don't be a coward.
I'm gonna be honest, Outscore.
Quantify your enjoyment.
Outscore's the winner.
Outscore is the winner. Don't get me wrong, I liked The other two, but the thing is, the other two I look at and go, these are games. These are not sort of things I would be interested in playing a finished product. And to be honest with like both of them, I would describe them as very good proof of concepts. But I enjoyed all of them. They were all fun. There was nothing in this I didn't enjoy playing at least a bit of.
Hang on, I lost the script. Could you go through the order again?
So that would be number 1, Outscore, number 2, File Maniac, number 3, Vengeful Heart, number 4, Sense, number 5, Black Box, number 6, Dogma.
Okay, that sounds about right. And Elmo?
Number 1, Neo Dogma. File Maniac, number -5. God.
It goes.
Feels really unfair, but I think the only thing that really bugs me about File Maniac is that of all of these games, this one has the most potential to come out and be disappointing. and to not live up.
The newest Sam Barlow joint.
Because it's just like...
Fair enough.
Telling Lies is very stupid. Did you look up what the ending of Telling Lies is? It is stupid.
No, do not tell me I haven't played it yet.
It sucks.
Oh.
It's just as stupid as her story, except dumber.
Oh. So,
Stop giving that man money!
Black Box probably at the bottom. I would probably put Neo Dogma in like my top half.
Really?
Yeah, I just it was the kind of game I haven't played an RPG except for I Am Setsuna for this entire year, so I got to the end and thought, hey, I could have played more of this.
Elmo, for God's sakes, play a Mass Effect game.
Never.
I'll go buy you a Mass Effect game. 1 second.
Never. I will never play it. Okay, so let's see. We'll run out of time. Okay, so Black Box, then Vengeful Heart, maybe, just because visual novels aren't my kind of thing. Then
It's no KFC.
yeah. Then Sense, then Outscore. Fuck it, I'm gonna put Neo Dogma second, and then File Maniac.
Elmo,
Yep.
for the love of God, play an actual RPG.
Nope. Okay, actually, yeah, I will really soon.
1 second.
But,
I'm gonna go buy him an RPG now.
ha ha.
I'm gonna buy him the best RPG
Which
ever
one?
made. Oh, you'll see.
I got Cthulhu Saves
No,
the
the
World.
best-
Don't play.
got
Don't get
Gambia.
the Chrono Trigger Steam port.
No,
It's
it
terrible.
wasn't Chrono Trigger, mate.
Oh.
Better.
I got it on DS. Why would I get it on Steam?
You won't have this on DS.
Oh, you have that
I just-
version. I'm so
I just-
sorry.
I emulated
Nobody
it,
likes
like,
that. Nobody likes that
Oh.
version.
I emulated it like 6 years ago. It was alright.
The new content is so bad.
Oh.
Okay. Keep going.
If you're actually buying me an RPG, then like I closed Steam to help with recording,
That's fine.
so
you'll-
I can't
That's
give
fine.
like
You'll see.
I can't give a shocking reaction.
You'll see.
Oh, no,
That's
man.
fine. You could talk about it next episode. Keep going.
Okay, are we all done?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, fuck
Okay,
off.
it's time to announce the next game, and since October's coming up and Elmo has to help me with an RPG that I'm sure he has not started yet,
Saw the title screen.
it's gonna take... we're playing Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, Elmo, come on. There's gonna have to be mod work before you can start playing.
Yes, it's gonna be like, what, 5 hours?
Oh god. This is gonna be a disaster. Anyways, I can't pick an RPG for October. And I did want to pick something like Shadowrun to keep up with the Cyberpunk theme, but I can't do that now. So instead, we are going to be playing an interesting horror game I found that is also on itch.io, thankfully, so you don't have to buy the Steam version. It is The Enigma Project.
Ooh.
It is about an hour to an hour and a half long, as it says, and it looks like some sort of meta horror game with PS1 graphics, so I'm into that. Will it be good? We'll find out. How should we end this episode?
Okay, wait, I just got Tama's gift. What is this?
Appropriate.
What?
I have this on PS1.
No,
and I
you
could
have it on
never
PC now.
Then again, I never played. Now I have it on PC. It's Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, that was disappointing. Just like Final Fantasy VII.
You're gonna have to link the game because I'm not seeing it on it.
Get out of my house.
Okay, I'll find it later. Anyways, Enigma Project next time on IndieCent. How should we end this episode? Fire Emblem Fates is a bad game!